It's the first of the month, and I just got done setting up for my month with my card of the year, and I thought I'd kind of talk you through how I do my setup. The cornerstone of my card of the year practice is a monthly reading. I develop a new spread each year, and I do this reading using this spread on the first of the month every month. The spread is based on my card of the year and also my theme of the year. My card this year is the Tower, and my theme is Align. So this is the spread I developed for myself. Based on this monthly spread, I create lessons, I create words of power, I choose crystals, and I develop daily draw and nightly draw journal entry, a nightly routine. So on a daily basis, I'm able to tap back into my card of the year, my theme of the year, and I'm able to sort of access an opportunity for intentional living and transformational change. I do have a video with a little more detail. I will link that below. I also have written up a guide, which I will link below. And before you dive into it and before we get farther into this, I do want to say I don't do a reading every single day. I have created daily draw questions, but I don't do one every single day. Your practice should be flexible and it should move with the rhythm of your life. But I find that this monthly setup with all this prep really helps me to connect with my card, connect with my theme when I'm able to. It reduces barriers because I've already got it set up here. So each month I find a new tower that I'm tearing down. So far this year, they've been kind of personal towers for the most part. This month is a collective tower, and it's about my position and my response, my reaction to people who are pulling down towers. So when I say it's a collective tower, I don't mean it's a tower for other people. I mean it's a societal tower. It's about my response and my responsibility within a society. It's about the status quo. So first position is what tower needs to fall? And I pulled strength. Now, would we normally think about strength as a tower? I wouldn't. But I think of the shadow side of strength. For me, the shadow side of this card is being overly cautious, limited, self-oppression, right? Taming the wildness in you so much that you are oppressing yourself. On a personal level, this would be about my own boldness, my own ability to push against the status quo, my own comfort and desire for conformity versus authenticity. But I pulled the world for my align. Align is my theme, so what needs to be aligned to move forward? And I pulled the world. Because I pulled the world, I know this isn't necessarily a personal tower. This is about pulling down a tower that affects my community and my society. For clarity, the illusions that need to be burned away and how I can clear away those illusions, the truth about that tower, I pulled 4 of Wands. As I started looking through these cards, I realized the invitation this month is to step out of something and into something new, right? The tower is creating that for us, right? The tower is pulling something down. You are leaving something behind and you've got to be able to step into something new. So I started putting together some thoughts about that. Along with the sun in the position of the path to alignment, I've got the sun. And so I'm thinking about bringing truth into light, openness, honesty. So when I start thinking about these things, my lessons for the month, I'll just read them to you because my handwriting is what it is. Step out of conformity and into authenticity. Step out of oppression and into liberation. Step out of assumptions and into truth. Step out of expectations and into the present. Step out of tracking milestones and into the work. Step out of certainty and into curiosity. Step out of limitation and into possibility. The things that came to mind right away when I started looking at this was my reaction. I don't know if you can tell from my hands. I'm a white person. I'm middle-aged. I'm from the Midwest of the United States. I'm a cis woman. And I started thinking about my reaction online when I see people who are freer with their words than I am, who are freer with their anger, with their insistence, with their strength than I am. Culturally, I have been taught that conformity is important, that softness is important. I have been taught that the status quo works, and why shake that down? And so I am going to need to do the work of of realizing my reaction to other people who are freer than I am. That is only my reaction. It is not an honest truth about the way the world should be. And shouldn't I be learning from that? Don't I have an opportunity to learn from that and support that? So to hear those voices, to amplify those voices, and at the same time, I've got my Page of Pentacles, which oddly, last month for April, I pulled Page of Pentacles in the same position. Amazing. This is a very helpful card for me last month, so I'm going to take some of those lessons forward. But put myself in the stance of the Page of Pentacles. I'm not an expert on this. I'm not an expert on anything. I'm here to learn. I'm here to help build something new. Not to create something new out of thin air. There's already work being done. How can I be a part of that? That is my collective work, my collective tower, and my collective alignment. The last few months with my card of the year have been very personal, and it's time to move out of the personal into the world, into the light, to be somebody who can do the work for it, to not need any accolades or, my milestones being celebrated, to just move out of that and to move myself out of a place of stagnation and limitation and to stop trying to limit other people too. So the other thing that's generally very powerful for me are my words of power, which I heard that phrase first from AnnMaddox. I'll link their channel below. Kellyanne is amazing. Highly recommend if you're not already following her. But I like to use these words of power or affirmations. I use them with my rosaries. I grew up Catholic. I'm not Catholic now, but the spiritual tools I used growing up still remain very important to me and comfortable for me. So I use these just as prayer beads, and I use my words of power as prayers, essentially. And yes, I'm in my robe. It's in the morning. I do this first thing in the morning. So my words of power for May are, I am humble, I am curious, I honor boldness, and then I step out of, and then I'll just return to my lessons, I step out of conformity and into authenticity. I step out of oppression and into liberation. I step out of assumptions and into truth, etc. I also picked out crystals to use, and then I've got my daily draw, my nightly draw, nightly routine all set up for me so that my card of the year, and specifically this reading, can be a compass for me this month. They're a compass, they're a support, they're a challenge, they're a companion. They help me live in alignment to make change, purposeful, positive change in my life. And this reading, this monthly reading, is the foundation of how I move forward and how I dive deep into my card of the year. Please let me know if you've got questions. I love talking about this. This is like my 5th or 6th year doing this, and I developed this process over the course of those years, and it has just had an absolutely transformational impact on my life. So if you've got questions or if you do something similar, I would love to know. And I'd love to know what your card is, if you calculate it or you choose it. Like if you liked this video, subscribe for more tarot content, and thanks for stopping by.